morning, everyone. And thank you for tuning in to listen to this update of Labrador Gold as we continue to explore in the exciting area of central Newfoundland. I think you will find that we have a compelling story to tell, and I hope that you will enjoy the presentation and take some interest in following us as we move forward. This is our disclaimer. I will be making forward-looking statements during the presentation, so I would ask you to please review this when you get a chance. We believe that Labrador Gold is a golden opportunity. We have a flagship property called Kingsway, which is our property in central Newfoundland in the Gander Gold District. We also have two Labrador projects, Ashwanapi and Hopedale. Both are early stage projects, but they both have potential for the discovery of new gold districts. We have an experienced exploration team behind us. We've already had success in finding and advancing gold deposits to the tune of upwards of 17 million ounces to date. We're cashed up, $20 million Canadian in the bank, and we have no debt. And we really believe that Newfoundland and Labrador is a very stable jurisdiction, and all our dealings over the past few years has shown that it's very supportive of mineral exploration. This is a slide showing the people behind our mineral exploration. I'll let you read this at your leisure. I'll just point out that we've worked with Sean Ryan for several years now, and last year we appointed Matt Lapointe as our Vice President of Exploration and Quinnan Hennig as our technical advisor. 2020 was quite a year for us. It started off really with the addition of the Kingsway Gold Project to our property portfolio. That certainly gave us a big lift and continued to do so as we did our exploration through the year. We also enhanced our leadership team, as I mentioned, with management and technical advisory board members. And our exploration, we did a lot of work in the 4 months that we were in the field last year. We did rotary air blast drilling. We took lots of soil and rock samples, lots of mag and VLF EM, and of course, prospecting and geological mapping over the entire property. And the end result of this was the discovery of visible gold at Big Vein, which I'll get into in a little more detail later. On the corporate side, we strengthened our balance sheet, several financings. We now have cash of $20 million Canadian, no debt, and that means that we're fully funded for a very aggressive 2021 exploration program. In terms of the market, we've improved the liquidity and market visibility substantially. Institutional ownership has increased from 17.4% up to 26.6%. We also started trading on the OTCQX under the symbol NKOSF, and the average daily trading value has increased substantially from about $925 Canadian up to almost 600,000. So this is honing in on our flagship property, the Kingsway property. It's shown here in the red pink color, and there's a few things to note on the map. First, the size of the property. It's 3 licenses covering about 77 square kilometers. And although you can't see it on this map, it also covers about 22 kilometers of strike length of major faults in the area, which is an important aspect, because these major faults, we believe, are controlling the location of gold mineralization in the district. We have excellent infrastructure. We're only about 18 kilometers from the town of Gander in Newfoundland. It's road accessible and with nearby electricity. And as you can see here, there's plenty of water. We're also just about 4.5 kilometers from Newfound Gold's discovery at the Keat Zone, which you can see shown here, which they announced early last year. And we are looking at the same kind of model for gold mineralization on the Kingsway Project, which is the high-grade epizonal gold mineralization associated with these major crustal structures. So looking at some of the work that we did last year, this is just what we call the quartz vein corridor. It's located in the southernmost claim block of the property. And what it is essentially is intermittent quartz veining that outcrops over a strike length of about 7.5 kilometers. I mentioned some of the major crustal structures, and here's one here that you can see along here. It's called the Appleton Fault Zone. That's a very important structure in the district. We believe that it's key to localizing gold mineralization. And you can see that the quartz vein corridor lies just adjacent to that to the west. One of our discoveries this year was visible gold, shown here in the yellow star, hosted by quartz vein, which we've called Big Vein. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's right here, pretty much in the center of this quartz vein corridor. And some of the work that we did along here, in addition to the mapping and sampling, we've got soil anomalies shown here in the orange color. These are all above 95th percentile in gold, and so they represent significant anomalies. We've also got, right at the end of last year, we did some till sampling, and one of those till samples came back with 165 gold grains in the till, and that's located about 900 meters to the northeast within this quartz vein corridor from the visible gold occurrence. So we believe that that's separate from this visible gold occurrence. It's not coming from here, and there's something else that may be in this vicinity of that till sample. Also, at the end of last year, our rock sampling and mapping turned up a 16 gram per ton gold sample from quartz vein. It's a grab sample down here, located about 1.2 kilometers to the southwest, again within this quartz vein corridor. And so we think that this quartz vein corridor has quite a bit of potential that we're just starting to understand. And although we're focused here on Big Vein, as I'll show you in a moment, we'll definitely be hitting this quartz vein corridor hard this summer field season. So this is really the discovery area. This is Big Vein here, shown in the red. It stretches over about 400 meters. And here are some of the samples that showed visible gold in them. And you can see that there was some pretty phenomenal assays in these visible gold occurrences. And to date, we found 5 occurrences just in this area. And then the other thing this shows is soil samples, which we've done across the entire property, and including here over Big Vein. And the purple dots here are the highest numbers. They're above the 97.5 percentile, so certainly significant values in gold. And you can see some of them here, above 1 gram a ton and up to almost 10 grams a ton just in the soil samples. So and one of the interesting things about this is that these are located up ice from the visible gold occurrences. So we don't think that these soil samples have had any glacial dispersion from this visible gold occurrence up here. We think that these are related to gold in the Big Vein and associated rocks. You can see what the Big Vein looks like right here. This is what we would call the discovery outcrop, I suppose, the first outcrop of Big Vein that we saw, and that's why we call it Big Vein. This is a photo of the visible gold in the rock. This is a cut slab. It's difficult to make out, but all of these little circles have grains of visible gold within them. You might be able to see some of them in some of these circles, and this one here I've blown up on the side, so you can see the visible gold quite clearly on the edge of this rock sample. This has a lot of characteristics of the epizonal gold mineralization, and we see lots of little bugs through here, some of which have quartz euhedral quartz grains within them. We also have these disseminated gold grains, some of which are located along stylolites, which are little fractures in the quartz vein. And we also see that the quartz veins broken up and annealed and come back together. So all of these things are characteristics of the epizonal gold mineralization that we're looking for. This is a detail of the rock sampling that we've taken over Big Vein. I don't really expect you to look at all the numbers here, just to show that the purple triangles are all over 1 gram per ton of rock. So you can see up in this area here, down here, and 1 or 2 down here, we have over 1 gram per ton of gold in the rock samples. And the visible gold samples, as you would expect, have significant gold, up to over 1 kilogram per ton of gold in that photo, in the sample of the photo I just showed you. So we've got about, in this area here, this is about 100 meters of strike length where we have significant gold values over 1 gram per ton, and around these visible gold occurrences. You can see here there's a bit of a dearth of samples, and we're still looking at that area. We've got to do some more follow-up. I think all the results are in now, but we've got more work to do in this area, because I think that we can expect to see more there. This is VLF, so this is a EM survey that we did again over all the soil sample lines. We did the VLF EM, and this shows resistivity, and the resistivity is highest for the pink areas. And what's interesting here is that you can see the outline of the vein corridor, the quartz vein corridor here in the dashed red line. The Appleton Fault is just here to the east. And you can see that within that quartz vein corridor, you have very high resistivity, which makes sense because quartz is resistive generally to electricity, much more so than is the surrounding shales, which tend to be a little bit more conductive. And so that maps out the quartz vein corridor quite nicely. And we can see here on the sections of our interpretation of Big Vein, we can also see that there's a lot of resistive area, potentially alteration of the shales around this interpretation of Big Vein. Also shown on here is our initial planned drill program that is now underway, and you can see that we're testing this Big Vein and the resistivity anomaly in several scissors and undercutting here. So we have a very good idea of what's going to happen with Big Vein by the time we get this drilling completed. This is a plan view of the drilling setup. You can see pretty close step outs initially, just to get an idea of what's happening with the plunge of the gold mineralization in Big Vein. Right now we're still on the first setup, and we're on hole 7, and we're looking pretty good, and we'll continue working our way down to the south and testing the big vein and hopefully get an idea of the plunge of the mineralization, and be able to predict exactly where the best areas to drill are going to be. We just upgraded our drill program to 20,000 meters from the original 10,000 meters, and to date we've drilled about 500 or 600 meters. So this is what has happened. We've done a lot of exploration during the last year. As I mentioned, we've got our phase 1 diamond drill program underway. It's started at 10,000 meters. It's now increased to 20,000 meters. So we'll be pretty busy with the drilling for a few months to come yet. And we'll also be starting up our field program pretty soon to follow up the results along that quartz vein corridor and to generate more results elsewhere on the property. This is what the share structure looks like. At the present time, we have almost 127 million shares outstanding, market capitalization is more than 39.5 million. It's closer to 100 million, and we have no debt. Insider ownership is about 13.9%, which includes Palisades Gold Corp at 10.9% and management at 3%. And you can see here the breakdown of the rest. We have 26.6% institutions, high net worth investors of about 29%, and then the float being about 41.4%. I'd like to acknowledge the Newfoundland and Labrador Ministry of Natural Resources for their Junior Exploration Assistance Program. They support our exploration of the Kingsway property, and also our amazing field crew that makes this work possible, and our contractors that carried out the soil sampling and the VLF-EM last year for us, which was obviously conducive to the discovery of the visible gold and big vein that we made late last year. If you have any other questions, here's my contact information. And I thank you very much for listening to the presentation.